ANDAMAN Partners is a global cross-border business solutions company. We help businesses to expand internationally and to scale. We have 3 business units. We have an investment business, advisory business, and trade business. Our investment business invests in early stage companies, seed and growth capital. Our advisory business does transaction advisory and strategic advisory and also help with implementation work. And our trade business is about solving complex international value chains. Well, I believe the fact that we're in key markets on the ground with a lot of experience and track record. As we stand here today in Cape Town, it's great to speak to people in the context of South Africa, but we talk to people here about what they could do in Korea, in India, in China, in Japan, in Thailand, in Vietnam. And that's where we've been for the last 30 years. On the ground, advising, transacting, supporting, implementing. And I think that is a unique aspect. The other aspect is, of course, how we work. We are very focused on strategic intelligence and decision support and going deep in understanding issues and framing solutions. And then it's about the team, the people that you put on the solution for the client. We really think we have very strong, capable people. And then I would say the culture. When we're working in a cross-border context, we need to understand both sides. We need to understand the intricacies. We need to understand those finer nuances. And I think that's really at the core of what we bring to our clients. Once again, I'm very pleased that I'm here and that ANDAMAN Partners is here. My co-founder, Rachel Wu, has been traveling here with me. We've had phenomenal meetings. We've had phenomenal conversations and you really take away a lot. So that's first and foremost, but also from understanding what the issues are, what are the challenges that companies face, and the level of awareness here in Africa at Mining Indaba, the barometer that it represents on what people are concerned about, what they are thinking, how do they look at Asia, and how can we then position to bring value to them to be successful in those Asian markets, which are growing well above trend, well above world averages, which are very dynamic and that present so many dimensions of opportunity. So we've certainly, over the last 2 days of Indaba and 1 or 2 days before that, engaged very widely, deeply with clients, with partners, with other stakeholders, and I do believe it was absolutely worth it for us. I think some may be disappointed, some may feel it was excellent. For us, it's been absolutely worthwhile, so I'm pleased that we're here. We try and go to some key presentations, but even just meeting people separately, sitting down, what is good about Indaba is it has people from the Americas, from the Middle East, Europe, Asia, all over Africa. And it really means there's such a high yield if you can manage your schedule well, which we're trying to do. We wish there were a few more hours in the day, but we've had tremendous engagement in a one-on-one context. We've had roundtable discussions with groups. We've been at bigger events, social activities, networking activities. So I think it's a balance between the sessions, the panel sessions, the keynotes. But I think it's really the value comes from the overall immersion that you really put your tag on Sunday sometime, and then from Monday until Thursday sometime, you're really in this environment. And in that sense, it's not purely about the presentations. It's a significant aspect. But I would say, in many cases, we really look at those presentations slowly, deeply, a week or two later to understand, the CEO's message on their business. But because you can't just sit in the sessions for the 4 days, you need to get out there and talk to people as well. So it's a challenge, but it's been absolutely worth it. Well, I would say uncertainty. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone, but it's going to probably remain volatile in commodity markets. I think geopolitics, geostrategy, the tectonic shifts that are taking place, some are glacial. We're not even seeing it, but it leaves a very different, transformed environment in its wake. I think that is where we're at. So my prediction is that we're going to have turbulent times, and if anything, CEOs, boards, ExCos, leadership teams need to be astute. They need to show their best form. So I would say, sadly, that is my prediction, is that it's going to be a tough environment to succeed in. Many risks, many threats, but we need to turn it into opportunity. After all, that's what we are having to do. But from our perspective, I see that the attention Africa is receiving in Asia. When I travel in India, in China, even in Vietnam, Thailand, Southeast Asian nations, Singapore, certainly Korea and Japan, and of course Australia, the attention on Africa is increasing. And I think generally, because Africa represents a big population, many countries that are at the higher end of growth rates, economic growth rates, are now in Africa. But specifically for mining, it is still a very important region. And for companies that are looking to make investments, to tap offtake, to sell their technologies, I think clearly in Asia there's more attention on Africa than 5, 10 or 15 years ago. And therefore I think even if these predictions are about uncertainty and volatility, for us here in South Africa and Africa in mining, we need to look at the world, and we also need to think how Asia is a partner across these different dimensions of consumption, a market that imports, a market that provides capital, a market that helps us build efficient, time-use, cost-effective process plants and infrastructure around it. So despite forecasts that are perhaps daunting, we're excited about what 2025 for the year of the snake has to offer.